And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to race number 11 of the debut season of the PCSRA Busch Series. Getting set to go racing here at the Michigan International Speedway as we're set for today's race here at the Irish Hills of Michigan. Should be a fun race here today for these Busch Series drivers because after today, we only have 15 more races left to go until this season's chase for the championship. It should be a very fun race here. Going to be a really exciting race in the Irish Hills of Michigan. On the pole position is Liliana Beta. Beta getting her first pole of the season. Jumped up 2 spots to 26th in the points table. Alongside of her is Tico Jumiaka, who gained 7 spots up to 27th in the points table. Bruno Wood in row number 2. 2 spots he gained up to 23rd in points. He is still 9 points above the 25th position in the points cut line. Alongside is Suni Su in the 29, who is top 10 in the points, ninth to be exact. Should be a fun race here today at the Irish Hills of Michigan, and we can't wait to see what today's race will have in store for us here in Brooklyn. It's time to get these cars rolling off onto the grid. Make sure nobody has any problems, and then we'll show you the rest of the lineup right there. It looks like nobody's having any issues as far as that is concerned. Point standings coming into this race are as follows. Annika Ricci took the points lead after Talladega last week. 5 points over Makar Amirmoez. Maylin Lee is 9 points back, third in the standings. K Langeland, 14 back, is fourth. Fifth is Lucas Albon, who dropped 3 spots down to fifth. Diego Marquez is also tied for fifth, 15 points back. 22 back is April Winters, who's seventh. Morgan Le Fay is eighth. Suni Su ninth. And Danny Rant dropped 7 spots down to 10th in the standings. "20 laps about to get underway here for today's race. Ace car is off here today. It's time for the running of the Cabo Wabo Tequila 250. And we are green here in Michigan. Should be a fun race here in the Irish Hills of Michigan. Beta leads that first lap of the race. I think I still have it on times 2. I'm going to double check on that to be sure. That's not what I'm looking for here. I believe I still have it on times 2. Yeah, I do. Okay. I forgot to put it back on times 1, but that's all right. Bruno Wood in second place. There's Drake Robertson in third. And then there's this gaggle right here. And moving up the fourth is one of the drivers we need to mention, Darby King in the 46. Dropped 4 spots down to the 31st position in the points. She has a total of 19 points back of 25th in the standings. So Darby King would like to have a good run here today at Michigan. So that way she is back inside the top 25 in points for her win to count for a spot into this season's chase for the championship. Leela Bakai is a whopping 50 points back of 25th in the standings. She is 37th in the points. Check the back of the field here. K Langeland. There's Lucy Myers, who comes into that critical 25th position in the points. Tony Lopez as well. Tony Lopez comes in this race 22nd in points. Has not been to victory lane this season. Bart Simpson, by the way, comes in this race 17 points ahead of 25th in the standings. So he needs to keep his consistency going. So that way he can stay inside the top 25 in points for his win to count for a playoff berth. It's also a 38-point cushion between Azar Amirmoez and that 25th position in the points cut line. So I forgot to put it back up on, forgot to fix the ticker there. Liliana Beta was only 3 points behind the 25th position in the points cut line. Going to be really important for drivers to have good runs here today. Find out where our points leader is. That's not an Amirmoez driver. It is Annika Ricci. She's all the way back in 32nd. The gal that's trying to run her down for the points lead, Makara, is running in 20th. Came in this race second in points. Right now, only 6 drivers would be pointing their way in via points if Bakai and King don't get back in the top 25 in points. And Darby King is running in 4th, so, and I mentioned she came in this race a total of 19 points ahead of 20, or behind 25th in the standings. I think this might put her back in the top 25 in points as long as she continues her good momentum this season. I have a lead change here. Drake Robertson in the 92. Drake Robertson, another one of those drivers. Bruno Woods, another driver trying to stay in the top 25 in points. Drake Robertson's also another driver that needs to stay inside the top 25. He's 17th in points. Bruno Wood is just barely above 25th position in the points cut line. A second win for Bruno Wood would solidify not only himself a possible playoff berth, providing he remains in the top 25 in points, but also would build his gap between himself and that 25th position in the points cut line. Liliana Beta leads that lap. We're midway through the Cabo Wabo Tequila 250. Tomorrow is the Pure Michigan 400 for the Winston Cuppers. I will have a co-commentator joining me for the All-Star race next week. Of course, I appreciate Cody Smart calling the Winston Cup race last week at Michigan, or at Talladega rather. This week we're at Michigan. I'm by myself this week. Liliana Beta having a very good run. Drake Robertson, Bruno Wood running in 3rd. 4th is Suni Hsu, Darby King in 5th. This is a good run for her and a good run for Leela Bakai. 2 ladies that need to get back in the top 25 in points. 7th is Riley Roblier. 8th is now going to be Kevin Lambert with Blake Peppers ninth. And Landon Ching for right now is 10th, but that's going to go to the 20 of Noah Parker. So move Parker inside the top 10. And Bruno Wood last week at Talladega was right near that 25th position, the points cut line. And now he can try to get away from that 25th position, the points. Of course, we already got a couple of drivers in the Winston Cuppers that are outside the top 30 in points, which we'll document that during tomorrow's race. Of course, this morning Friday we had Busch qualifying, Busch practice, Winston Cup practice, and qualifying. We just had Winston Cup happy hour not that long ago for their race tomorrow. And of course, we have the Busch race today. We'll have the Winston Cup race tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Drake Robertson going to retake the race lead from Liliana Beta. Liliana Beta going to also lose second to Bruno Wood in the 54. And like I said, Bruno Wood's another one of those drivers along with Drake Robertson right near that cut line. We're checking the rest of the field here, and a lot of drivers that are running well in points are going to take some hits in the standings. Makar is second in points, 33rd. Annika Ricci came as the points leader. The first time we had a driver that is not an Amirmoez sister who is the points leader. Of course, she took the points lead last week at Talladega. Last couple of weeks, we've had some caution-free races. We had one last week at Michigan, and I believe we had a caution at Las Vegas. Yeah, we had a caution in Las Vegas. Last week we had a caution-free race at Dega. And now we're about to have another caution-free race, which I don't mind these caution-free races, if you know what I mean. As we're down to 5 to go, just checking back here at the rear of the field. Danny Rand's not where he needs to be. And Azar Amirmoez has been free falling through the points the last couple of weeks. Bart Simpson, that's another driver that's flirting with that cut line as far as 25th position in the points is concerned. So if he has a bad result, this could put Bart Simpson outside the top 25 in points. But for Darby King and Leela Mackay, who are only a total of 19 and 50 points back of 25th in the standings, we're going to have to see where this will situate Leela Mackay. As far as Darby King is concerned, because she had less of a cushion behind 25th in the standings, this might get Darby King back in the top 25 in the points. It's going to be a stretch for Leela Mackay, But Darby King and Leela Mackay will be racing in the Winston Cup Open next week at Charlotte. That is our next race for these drivers in 2 weeks. The start time is going to be a little different for the race weekend at Charlotte. It's going to be a 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next weekend. Or the next points paying weekend, I should say. Winston Cup Open will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we'll have the All-Star race just prior at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So you can basically call it Winston Cup Night in America, is what we like to call it. Beta took 2 to go. This will be the white flag next time by. The big question mark is going to be, where does this put Bart Simpson? Because Bart Simpson's gap, he was 17 points ahead of 25th in the standings as the white flag is out. One more lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. Can Drake Robertson get around the payday Chevrolet out of Richard Childress Racing? Not sure if the 92 has anything for the 21. And it looks like he's not going to make the move. First career win for Liliana Beta. She takes the Cabo Wabo Tequila 250 here at Michigan. And now the big question need to be answered. Has Liliana Beta locked herself a spot into this season's chase for the Busch Series Championship? Talk about a driver who, in the amateur series, had a horrible season, did not find victory lane, and here she is today, a winner at Michigan. Drake Robertson will get second. That's a well-needed run, so he and Bruno Wood, who finished third, are going to build themselves a nice little cushion between themselves and 25th in the standings. Suni Hsu fourth. Leela Bakaye, well-needed run, was 50 points back of 25th in the standings. We're going to have to see what kind of a gap she's going to have as she needs to continue getting herself back into the top 25 in the standings, but this is a good start. Noah Parker will get 6th, 24th in the points, will move back up inside the top 20. Michael Ford 7th, Luna Farmer, a well-needed run from her, 28th in points, an 8th place finish for her. Riley Roblier 9th, and Kevin Lambert complete the top 10. Darby King, 14th. She came in this race. She did finish ahead of the 88. And from what I'm looking at, I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. We're going to have to wait and see where this is going to situate her. But I think 14th is a good result, but we'll have to see where this is going to situate her in points. As you look on down to the remainder of the finishing results, Annika Ricci finished 24th, came in this race the points leader. Makara 19th, came in this race second in points. So we're going to have another point shakeup. Bart Simpson, I really don't know about a 32nd place finish if this is going to keep him in the top 25. I seriously doubt it will. Tony Lopez came home 34th. And this might put Tony Lopez possibly outside the top 25 with that result. And then Prudence Martindale was the last car to finish the race on the lead lap. Nobody finished a lap down or DNF because we had 20 green flag wraps in a caution-free race. But that is going to do it for Michigan. The question is, did Liliana Beta do enough to get herself locked into the playoffs? We're going to have to wait and see as we enter the second half of the regular season, the part I like to call the chase to the chase. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race from Michigan. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the PCSRA crew today. We showed your full finish results. Your points are down in the description. Heading into our next race in 2 weeks from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Excuse me there, I just belched a little bit. We have the All-Star race next weekend for the Winston Cuppers, which they're the only ones in action. Busch and trucks will be off. But we have one more spot for the All-Star race up for grabs in the Winston Cup race tomorrow here at Michigan as we cap off this race weekend from Michigan. And then next week, it's just Winston Cup as we get ready for the All-Star weekend from Charlotte Motor Speedway. You do not want to miss that. Until tomorrow, I've been Danny Bull signing off. Goodbye from Michigan as you've been watching yet another broadcast of PCSRA TV, where champions are made since 2010, the best auto racing around the world since 2017. We'll see you tomorrow for the Winston Cup race.